And we welcome you inside the Snake Pit site for this continuing coverage of Week 9 action here in the Simulation Football League as we get set for this matchup between the Baltimore Vultures and the Indianapolis Ramblers. Nate Hall here on play-by-play. Alongside me for this one is Brett Killian. And Brett, of course, we know Baltimore coming in this one undefeated, coming off a win last week against Sioux Falls. Indianapolis last couple weeks have been showing improvements. What are you looking forward to do in this one?
It's basically going to be seeing how Indianapolis is going to fare out against an undefeated team like Baltimore, and Baltimore is undefeated for a reason. They have the best defense in the league, and we can talk about any of their defensive statistical categories, but it all depends on how Indianapolis is going to respond on the offensive side. They're a little bit up and down, but they do rely on that running game with Brad Jones. He had 157 yards last week against DC. Can he have a repeat performance here this week against a running defense like Baltimore that makes it so tough to run?
Yeah, Brad Jones is going to have to get going early and often. I believe if they're going to have a chance of this one. Currently with 12 touchdowns on the season, good for 4th in the league. As we get through the rest of coin toss and get you set for game here in Indy. Baltimore coming out in their white tops and black pants, and Indianapolis in all grays. Indianapolis will be kicking off to start things. And we are underway with the ball on the tee here in the Snake Pit. And we're off. Return brought up from about 2-yard line. Right up the middle to about the 28. Good return up that left side by number 10, Ivory Irvin. We'll get to see our first look at Baltimore's offense.
Yeah, led by Jack Wigmore, who's having probably the one efficient season that he's been looking for throughout. Yards wise, not too much, but second in completion percentage, least amount of interceptions, and get this, he's only been sacked twice this season.
Yeah, the fewest sacked quarterback in this league so far through the first half of the season, as he passes on first down and looking for 83 is tight end Lloyd Graham Jr. on first down, and it's a complete pass.
Yeah, that's a dangerous area to go to. Ernest McCray Sr. last week had 2 interceptions, 1 go for pick 6. He almost got one here on the first pass of this game. He's starting off hot already with the pass deflection.
So that'll bring up a 2nd and 10, a heavy set now for Baltimore. Probably looking to get Warren Murray going here on this 2nd down play. Let's see if they go to him here. They do hand the ball off to Warren Murray on 2nd down, but nothing doing on that play. They'll call it no gain to set up a 3rd and 10. This time it is the inside linebacker Adam Wiseman in on the tackle.
Yeah, if Indianapolis is going to have any success defensively, it's going to be stopping Warren Murray. He is the trendsetter for Baltimore's offense, as he's top 10 in the league in a bunch of statistical categories.
4 wide now with Wigmore back in the gun, looking for this early 3rd down conversion. Plenty of time to throw over the middle, and that's going to be completed down to about the 45-yard line, and Daly Holder on the reception for a major first down on their first drive.
Yeah, and that's Dominic Matz, the corner, being beat there by Daly Holder, and that's what Baltimore's receivers can do. They have the speed just to get that initial burst of energy on an all-slants route, essentially, to get himself open, and Holder was the first guy that Wigmore looked at and got the throw and catch.
Empty backfield this time on first down for Wigmore, standing all alone back there by himself. Plenty of time to throw, however, no pressure back there, but tipped away and incomplete. He was looking for Mac Chima on that route, but gets batted away, bring him 2nd down.
And with Indianapolis' corners going bump coverage on this first down here, we were kind of worried that they might go deep on this one, but again, they went with slant routes. You can definitely see on the far side where they were intending to throw to, but the linebackers did a good job just backing up a little bit and being in the fray of the pass.
3 wide to the bottom of the screen this time, Wigmore to throw. Quick out route to Daly Holder on that out route to about the 49-yard line of Indianapolis, set up a 3rd and short.
Yeah, and that's all Baltimore really wanted on that second down. And you saw that the deep pass wasn't really going. The linebackers were kind of backing up, so they went with an out route option to Daily Holder again. Opens up this playbook here for third down, and Baltimore's been pretty good with their third down opportunities here. 63%, fourth in the league in their conversions.
3rd and 3 from the 49-yard line now for Baltimore. Hands the ball off to Warren Murray once again. Spin move, makes a couple of defenders miss, and gets just enough for the first down at the 45-yard line.
Yeah, and as I said, Warren Murray is going to be that trendsetter for Baltimore as he's part of the third best rushing offense in the SFL, and he's the primary reason for that alongside T. Roy Gaines, the fullback.
First down at the 45-yard line. Wigmore back to throw over the middle, and he's going to find Holder once again on that short crossing pattern over the middle to about the 39-yard line for a 2nd and medium.
Yeah, and
I'm
it's
sorry, that's
all
Blair Grant Jr.
Yeah, it's all focusing this Baltimore offense right now on this drive is just trying to find that level of where the linebackers are, because if they can get in front or behind it, they've got that open space where Wigmore can throw it, and they've been doing pretty well on it this drive.
2nd and 4. This time they go split backs in the formation. Usually they run T. Roy Gaines out of this one, and they do hand it to Gaines, and gets a good 6 or 7 yards out of this one to set up another first down inside the 35-yard line.
Yeah, and T. Roy usually, a traditional running back, moving over to the fullback position since Warren Murray and his previous running back got involved as well, Jimmy Hazard, and now getting a lot of touches here this season.
Wide open space to run for Warren Murray on that right-hand side. Good for 8 yards, just following his blockers off tackle.
Yeah, it was a great job following the blockers, but he went into the area of congestion, essentially. If he would have went outside a little bit more, I think he would have been gone for sure. But instead, he stays a little bit inside, try to follow his blockers, and the linebackers basically met him after a couple yards. This one was 8.
Again, a heavy I formation coming up here for Baltimore on 2nd and 2. Very efficient first drive so far for Baltimore. Following more blockers right up the middle, and gets another 3 or 4 yards before he's brought down, and another first down.
Yeah, and Indianapolis had the right idea. They had a couple corners and even a safety kind of creeping on the left side of their defense, or as in this case, the right side of the offense. But Warren Murray went left, and that was the difference there to get that extra couple yards.
Let's see if they go T. Roy Gaines here or try to hand it off to Warren Murray this time. They do come out and split back formation to go Murray this time. This time they'll get 2 yards, though, down to the 21-yard line of Indianapolis.
Yeah, and they're in pretty good range at this point in terms of getting any points, essentially. Shark Tarkington is probably one of the most automatic in terms of field goal kicking in this league, but they're not too worried about getting Tarkington out right now. It's a 2nd and 8 situation here.
2nd and 8 from the 21-yard line, knocking on the door of the red zone. Another run by T. Roy Gaines. T. Roy Gaines getting an equal amount of carries so far with Warren Murray. Now, that's his 2nd or 3rd run so far this drive, and he's getting good work out of it as well.
Yeah, and it's just the offensive line doing a great job just opening any gaps that they can to give both Murray and Gaines as much yardage as possible here.
3rd and 2. Indianapolis need to hold this to 3 if at all possible. Back throw. Wigmore over the right-hand side.
Nice.
And that's going to be picked off by Indianapolis. Number 25 back there in the back corner. It's McCray Sr. there to make the pick.
That's fantastic one-on-one coverage. And I talked about McCray earlier here, facing off against Daily Holder, Mac Chima, as you said earlier. That main target that they usually rely on, either him or Irvin, especially in the end zone, they go with Chima. But McCray has been doing a fantastic job over the last couple of weeks on great one-on-one coverage, and that's a prime example of that. Staying with his man, seeing the ball go up and grab the interception. Great work.
And on comes Colin Pearson company for their first drive of the ball game with a little over 6 minutes left in the first quarter. Swing pass out there to the left. Brad Jones with the reception, and he gets about 4 yards on the play for a 2nd and 6.
Yeah, that's got to be a good momentum setter here for Indianapolis, forcing Baltimore for 0 points after a very impressive drive, getting an interception out of that. The 3rd most efficient offense in the league, shut down by an interception.
Strong eye formation now for Indianapolis. Hands the ball off. Brad Jones. Brad Jones, you got to think, is going to be a workhorse for this offense today, but this time he goes down for no gain on the play, as that was big Nate Brown there in on the tackle.
Yeah, and get this, 64 yards is the number that Baltimore allows on the ground. And Brad Jones gets a heavy dose. He's second in the league coming into this week in carries. So I would expect Indianapolis to start throwing a little bit more here and Colin Pierce.
Dime formation for Baltimore's defense. Back to throw is Pierce. And Pierce finds a receiver over the middle. That is going to be number 41 on that reception, tight end Randy Pierce, to get the first down.
That is the first connection we see, Pierce to Pierce. And that's essentially just a missed coverage from the linebacker. It looked to be 52 on that one that just missed his assignment entirely on just a quick slant route to the outside, and Pierce was wide open for that easy first down.
First and 10 from the 34-yard line, empty backfield for Pierce. Plenty of time to throw. Now he scrambles a little bit, and that's going to be picked off by Baltimore. Could be a pick six. And it's 20, 10, 5, touchdown, Baltimore. You called it, Brett. Number 23, as soon as he picked that one off, that was Enzo Bold. He saw an opening. He took it all the way for 6.
Yeah, and that's just reading the eyes of Colin Pierce, essentially, and just making sure where he's going to throw that football. And once he grabbed it, Enzo Bolt dashed like a bolt to the end zone. And that's all really Baltimore needed there, knowing that they're probably going to be passing a little bit more, knowing that Baltimore's running defense is the best in the league. Try to use their weakness, I guess you could say, even though they're an elite defense, they do allow more yards on the passing game. But you have to worry about that secondary core, and Enzo Bolt just runs his way to the end zone for a pick 6.
We'll have to see how that affects Indianapolis moving forward as Baltimore gets an early score. Defensively, though, this time, as Tarkington comes on to attempt the extra point, it's up and through, giving Baltimore a 7-0 lead with a little under 5 minutes left in the first quarter. If you're new to the SFL, the Simulation Football League combines traditional sports, esports, and a role-playing game into one. Team strategies are being executed in real time by our simulations, as real-life players could be on the virtual gridiron. For more information about the SFL, visit our website at www.simulationfl.net. The SFL, we put the fan and fantasy, as this return is brought up by Indianapolis up to about the 25-yard line, and that is where we'll see Indianapolis try to shake off that last interception by Pierce and try to get another drive going as Rockefeller brings that one out.
Yeah, it's going to be a quick turnaround here for Pierce as he's thrown that pick 6 and immediately is back out on the field down 7. So he's got to be a little bit smarter with his throws here and make sure that he finds his targets right. Just think of the first throw that he got from Pierce to Pierce.
3 wide, strong eye formation for Pierce. Back to throw. Swing pass out to Brad Jones. He does have a little opening out there along the sidelines and gets a good 7 or 8 yards before he's brought down.
Yeah, and they're probably going to rely on Brad Jones on that swing pass to just get Baltimore guessing a little bit here, especially with that linebacking core. The defensive line, probably one of the best in the league here with all their tackles for locks and sacks throughout this season. So let's get some swing passes and maybe some short routes might help it out.
2nd and 3 from the 33. Hands the ball off. This time to Brad Jones once again, but nothing doing on that play as number 99 comes in for Baltimore, Saron Yates. And that's a player that we're going to keep an eye on, along with King. Saron Yates, though, one of the leading players in tackle for loss in the league so far in this season.
Yeah, and he's got a tackle for loss here, and that makes it 18 for this season.
3rd and 3 now for Indianapolis. Back throw, Pierce over the middle, and that's going to be completed. Number 84, Jeff Banfield, one of Pierce's favorite targets, gets the first down to the 42-yard line.
Yeah, and Pierce has 2 great targets that he likes to throw at a lot throughout this season, Ryan Roosevelt being the other one. But if you want 2 reliable options that can get you first downs, Banfield and Roosevelt are the 2 to look at.
Banfield coming over in the offseason from DC. We all know what kind of play Banfield had with DC last season as Brad Jones gets the handoff. He's got an opening, 40, 30, 20, one man to beat, down the
got it.
sidelines, touchdown, Brad Jones. He follows the blockers all the way down the sidelines, and there was no defenders there to bring him down as he's in for 6 points.
Yeah, and it was all relying on, it looked to be Giovanni Bolt. It was just a foot race to the end there, but like you said, great blocking. You'll see right there on the initial block from 56, it looked to be the center, Lewis Spark, that got an initial block that gave Brad Jones enough space to turn on the Jets on the sidelines and just get himself running. And Indianapolis, if they're going to get running games like this, Baltimore better watch out. Now they're an extra point away from tying this up when it looked like doom from the start.
And that's one way to turn around your fortunes after the previous possession, throwing that interception for that pick six, and then all of a sudden turning around and getting a score with that long touchdown run by Brad Jones of 58 yards, as that extra point is up and through to make the score tied at 7 apiece here late stages of the first quarter. The SFL produces over 400 live events each year, but don't miss community content creators and their creations. Catch SFL Nights with AJ Stryker. Say it with your chest, around the SFL and more, covering season 19 and beyond. To check out archived versions of community shows, visit simulationfl.net and click the logo of your favorite form of SFL entertainment on our homepage. As this one is brought out by Ivory Irvin up to about the 25-yard line. And Brett, it's been a while since we've seen Baltimore's offense on the field. Let's see what they can do here on their second drive now of the ballgame.
Yeah, and Jack Wigmore had enough rest on the sidelines there, and he's an ultra-efficient quarterback, like I said before, with 77% of his throws being completed, and he's able to find his targets for touchdowns. He's got 16 so far this season, so he can be reliable in the air, but you have to think first down play goes to Murray here.
Haven't introduced either of these teams starting the lineup yet. We'll do so after this drive, but this one is going to be ran out there towards the sidelines by Warren Murray. Nice 12 yards gain there by Murray for a first down. And I think that's a good segue into the starting lineup for Baltimore. Jack Wigmore, the quarterback. Warren Murray, you just saw with a huge run there for the halfback. T-Roy Gaines, fullback. Ivory Irvin, Daley Holder, and Max Shima, the wideouts. DJ Bandit and Lloyd Graham Jr. are the tight ends. First and 10 now from Baltimore's 37-yard line. 3 wideouts to the top of your screen this time with a single back. Wigmore to throw. Swings it out to Warren Murray. And a great defensive play this time by Indianapolis. And Brett, why not? I think we'll just introduce Indianapolis' defensive lineup after that great defensive play out there in the opening flats. Rocco Rossi, Chris Joseph, Corey Dobbins, and Derek Ginkgo are the defensive linemen. Adam Weissman, Chris Britton III, and Chad McDevitt are the linebackers. Blake Prine, Dominic Matz, Ernest McCrae Sr. are the corners. Ham Anderson, Kanye Rockefeller, the free safeties, and Bryant James round out the safeties at strong safety.
And with that run there, just going a couple of yards going down, these linebackers for Indianapolis are going to be key in stopping the run game for Baltimore, as you see on the first play of that drive with that Warren Murray 12-yard gain out of that. So they have to be careful and be ready.
Back to throw. Who was pressured a little bit was Wigmore, but he does get the throw away and finds the completion out to Ivory Irvin for a first down gain. That's 47-yard line.
Yeah, if you notice right away, Wigmore just adjusted himself right after the drop, seeing one of the ball almost right in front of him. And that kind of opened up a little bit of vision for him to see Ivory Irvin on the slants open by at least a couple yards. So that's just great awareness from Jack Wigmore to find that pass.
Empty backfield again for Wigmore.
Boy.
And that's going to be a penalty, but I don't think that's pressure is going to matter. It might be an offsides penalty coming up here for Indianapolis.
Yeah, and I yelled, "Oh no!" right afterwards because I saw Mac Chima absolutely blow by his corner counterpart on the run, and I was expecting a deep touchdown happening on Baltimore, but it's defensive holding here for Ernest McCrae Sr. So Baltimore is going to get some yards given to them here, and that's very interesting. How often do you see a defensive holding call here in the league?
Yeah, absolutely. Very few and far between on defensive holding calls here in the SFL, but Baltimore has one go their way as they get a 10-yard penalty moving the ball forward for their offense in the 1st and 10 now from the 42-yard line. Back to throw is Wigmore. Over to the left-hand side and tiptoes along that sideline. Ivory Irvin once again with the completion.
Yeah, and again, it's Ivory Irvin doing a great job just getting past his corner counterpart and finding an open space, because you can see two linebackers going straight into the area of Irvin, but he just sneakily finds that pocket around and gets a space for Wigmore to throw it, and gets another first down here for Baltimore.
Wigmore back in the gun. Pump fakes over the middle. He's done. Irvin once again right around the 10-yard line to set up a 1st and 10 from the 10.
Yeah, and you saw that diving attempt, what it looked like to be from Ham Anderson, the free safety. We'll see it a little bit closer here. Yeah, just a little bit too much. That's actually Blake Prine. Sorry, the numbers kind of get mixed up from this far away from the booth, but a decent diving attempt, but that left the receiver open again, and now inside the red zone. Jack, this time, don't throw an interception in the end zone.
Yeah, that's the last thing they need now for their offense. You saw the turnover back to the end zone last time. Let's see if they're a little careful this time. Back throw, Wigmore, right-hand side, over by the sidelines. It is completed down to the 4, out there to Mac Chima.
Yeah, and that's just Indianapolis covering the flats instead of going with the deep ball. And that's just an easy out route and catch for Lloyd Graham Jr. to get himself just on the outside sidelines. And look at this! Indianapolis is going to challenge the call, but I think that I don't think that's a great call. It looked like black and white, that call.
Yeah, I think he had both feet in bounds before he fell out. I think this might be a wasted challenge in my opinion, but we'll see what R62 has to say.
And how interesting do you see Graham Jr. play basically a wide receiver on the outside instead of inside? That's one of the most common out route catches that you'll see, and he had plenty of clearance on the sidelines.
Absolutely. So that's going to be a completed pass, and that'll stand. The timeout will be taken off the board for Indianapolis after they lose that challenge. So it'll bring up a 2nd and 10 or 2nd and 4, I should say, from the 4-yard line.
And this should be T. Roy Gaines territory here.
We'll see if they go to him. They do hand the ball off to T. Roy Gaines, straight up the middle, touchdown, 6 points, Gaines.
And that's what you called an untouched touchdown for T. Roy Gaines, and that was just absolutely splitting open the gaps. No problem. This Baltimore offensive line, probably one of the most underrated in this league, and we don't talk probably enough about how efficient that offensive line is for Baltimore, with just the protection of the quarterback as well as giving as much space as possible to the running backs. And T. Roy Gaines, nobody got to him before he hit the end zone. Great work from Baltimore on this drive.
Tarkington comes on to attempt this extra point to try to make this a 14-7 lead. The snap is down, the kick is up, and it is through. And that'll make the score 14-7 with 10 seconds left here in the quarter. And Brett, we knew that we know how efficient this Baltimore offense is, but we knew that if Indianapolis is going to have a chance at this one, they're going to have to go tat for tat with their own offense here in this game.
Yeah, and with Baltimore punching, throwing haymakers already in Indianapolis, the Ramblers have to get ready, recover and see if they can punch back with a haymaker of their own.
Returned by Rockefeller from about the 1 and brings it out to about the 23-yard line, and we'll see how the offense for Indianapolis responds here with about 6 seconds left in the quarter.
And the last drive capped off with a 58-yard run from Brad Jones. And with 77 yards to go on this drive here, do you think the Lightning can strike twice here for Brad Jones?
We will see for sure, as 3 wide is the formation and 2 backs in the backfield. Back to throw, however, is Pierce.
Nice.
And he'll have a reception out there along the sidelines for a gain of about 13 yards and a first down for Ryan Roosevelt, his first catch of the game, as that'll be a completed pass for a first down.
I mean, that's what you want to see from an out route is just immediately right after he makes that cut, he grabs the catch and he has space on the sidelines. That's what you want. That is the ideal out route throw and catch because then you have enough running to go. End of the quarter.
End of the first quarter here in the Snake Pit. Baltimore up 14-7 over in Indianapolis, but Indianapolis trying to answer. You're watching the SFL here on Twitch, presented by APM Music. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Nate Hall alongside Brett Killian in the booth for the call on this one. Justin Reside and Gino McFly in the stats truck. Thank you, gentlemen, for the stats on this one. First and 10 now from the 36-yard line. Pierce back to throw over the middle, and that's going to be, nearly picked off. That probably should have been picked off. I thought it was going to be, but it just falls off the hands of Devin King.
And we talk about these corners that just do an efficient job for Baltimore. The linebackers are sometimes a little bit sneaky with their interceptions as well. Frank Smith is the only one to have interceptions on the linebacking core, but Devin King almost got one for himself by tracking that ball pretty well.
I formation now for Indianapolis. Hands the ball off to Brad King. Tries to find an opening, but there is nothing going along that defensive line for Baltimore. Down for a loss of 1 on that play as Big Al Walker comes in for a TFL.
Yeah, and Al Walker, if it's not Saron Yates, it usually tends to be Al Walker that makes any running back pay behind the line, as he's got 13 and possibly now 14 tackles for loss if we count this one here. So great job on that defensive line.
3rd and 11 coming up now for Indianapolis. Empty backfield for Pierce. Over the middle. Picked off. This could be trouble. I was going to say it could be another pick 6, but they do bring him down around the 32-yard line. However, it is picked off right there. I believe that was, Enzo Bolt with his second pick.
Yeah, that's give it a pair for Enzo Bolt. And again, that's just tracking the right receiver, looking at Pierce's eyes and making sure who was going to throw it to. Intended for Randy, the tight end, but it just doesn't work out. And now all of a sudden, Enzo Bolt now leads the team with his 6th interception of the season.
Enzo Bolt having himself a game so far through the first quarter plus here tonight as Baltimore comes back out on offense. Deep drop back, and that's going to be picked off. Back to Indianapolis, as that is going to be number 33, Bryant James, getting the ball right back to Indianapolis' offense.
Yeah, and Indy had 3 interceptions against Shabazz Synergy last week against DC, and Bryant James had one of them, and he gets another one here. And probably one of the most opportune moments for Baltimore to break this game open. And Bryant James says no to that and gives Colin Pierce another breath of life and another chance here.
1st and 10 from the 9-yard line. Not ideal field position, of course, for the interception, but just happy to get the ball back, I'm sure, after that pick. Let's see if they can capitalize off the turnover. Spin move for Brad Jones off that swing pass for a gain of about 2 yards.
Yeah, and it wasn't too bad of a play there, kind of a little bit of a slip action, modified, kind of a broken play at the same time, but it still got positive yards, and that's really all Indy wants out of this play, is just to get themselves out of the shadow of their own end zone.
Weak eye formation now for Indianapolis. They do swing it out there again to Brad Jones, but nothing doing on that play. Only a gain of 1 before he's tackled out there.
Yeah, and nobody was there to block him. Ryan Roosevelt just completely missed one of the linebackers on the block, which kind of caused Brad Jones only to get a yard of that. If he would have gotten a key block, maybe could have gotten a first down, but now they're going to set up here 3rd and 7, and it looks like they might huck this ball.
They're going to have to try to throw this ball to one of their top receivers here on 3rd and 7 at the 13. Try to move for the first down, and they do get the ball out to the 23-yard line on a beautiful pass from Pierce out there to Ed Williams, the wide receiver, one of the third options out there at wide receiver for a nice completion.
And he doesn't get too many touches so far this season. That's only his 5th catch this season, but it's a big one there to get a first down and definitely gets them out of their own territory.
Hands ball off again too. Oh, what a blow up by the defense. Saron Yates, who else? Getting another tackle for loss to add on to his stat sheets for the season, bringing down Brad Jones.
Yeah, and if you want to talk about just running backs in general, if I give an interview to all 27 starting running backs in these SFL, they would probably say they see Suron Yates Sr. In their nightmares.
Certainly not someone you want to see in your dreams at all. As
Oh,
that pass is going to be dropped, incomplete, looking for Randy Pierce. That's a couple of drops we've seen now by Pierce in this ball game. Alvin Mack on the coverage.
yeah, and this time Mac was just again with the flats coverage and hits Randy Pierce pretty well on the chest to basically bobble that ball loose. Indy could possibly make a challenge here as well to say that he had possession of the football with 2 feet down. I'm not sure, but I would still rule it incomplete nonetheless. Here, 3rd and 14, they're definitely gonna have to throw it now.
3rd and 14, back in the gun is Pierce. Dime formation for Baltimore. Plenty of time to throw. Over to the left-hand side, batted away and incomplete. Good defensive play made by Elijah Warfield out there to make sure that wide receiver didn't get that ball.
Yeah, no, it was almost a picture-perfect play from Indianapolis as well, going to the sidelines, relying on a corner pattern, to Roosevelt, but this time it just gets deflected away, and Indy's interception turns for naught, and they're going to have to punt this football away.
So no harm done on that interception by Wigmore as the punt is away by Indianapolis. Returned at about 48 by Ivory Irvin and brought back for about 3 yards on that one to set up their next offensive possession. The SFL is coming to the ESTV Plus app. 24/7 SFL programming will include content created by the community, the SFL's greatest games from the archives, exclusive network content, and live SFL regular season games. Download the ESTV Plus app on your Android or iPhone or on your TV through Roku, Amazon Fire, Vizio, and more. The SFL Network, where SFL creators come together. Deep throw right side. Picked off again by Indianapolis, taking the ball right back as Wigmore couldn't find his receiver. This time, it's number 25 on the defense, Ernest McCray Sr. with his 2nd pick of the game.
Man, and that was a carbon copy of the last play that Wigmore threw an interception, and this time McCray read that play like it was a simple children's book, stayed along with Mac Chima, and grabbed the interception again. 2nd game in a row that McCray gets his 2 interceptions in the game, and again, Indianapolis has another chance to try to tie this game.
Well, just uncharacteristic plays so far here through the first half from Jack Wigmore. Now you see him throwing. Oh, man, that was close to being picked off right back to Baltimore, however, as Pierce was looking for Pierce again over the middle, and number 27, Marvin Hines, got his hands on it.
Man, I think both teams can say for sure that the one thing they didn't want to see in this game was a pickoff, essentially, to see which defense would pick off the quarterback more times. But right now, with these errant throws, it's becoming a matter of when they're going to throw interceptions, not if.
Hand off to Brad Jones, and that's going to be a loss of 3 yards on the play. Devin King coming in once again to make a big tackle for loss.
Yeah, and get this. We've seen 3 tackles for loss in this game for sure for Baltimore. That bumps them up to 73 tackles for loss. They are untouched in that department in this league.
Their defense definitely makes a living in opponents' backfields for sure. Back to throw. Pierce looking deep over the middle. Intercepted once again. Pierce threw his 3rd interception of this ball game. This time, it's going to be taken away by Giovanni Bolt with his 1st interception of this ball game.
And Enzo has 2 at this point. And Giovanni on the free safety side said, hey, I want one too. And again, that's just great reading. And it seems like both these quarterbacks are trying to go to their favorite targets. Wigmore to Chima, and you see here Pierce to Banfield, which we've seen more than a couple targets so far in this game. And right now, the safeties and corners on both teams are reading it perfectly so far. And now Wigmore back out on the field at the 27 could strike and try to open this lead up.
The ball off out of that split back formation to T-Roy Gaines, and I think this is what they need to go back to try to calm their offense down, hand the ball off to their workhorses in the backfield for a good 7 yards on that play.
Yeah, at this point, I would say 9 straight plays go straight to Murray and Gaines, and just rely on the backs of the running backs to get them to the end zone here. Let Wigmore rest his arm for a little bit.
Heavy I formation for the offense. It hands the ball off to Warren Murray. They're going to say he fell short of the first down marker as that tackle was made about a half yard shy by Adam Wiseman at about the 17-yard line.
Yeah, and again, it's just a great run from Warren Murray, just trying to find the open space. And again, the offensive line did a great job, but you got to find the linebackers. Great job on preventing that first down.
And who else but Warren Murray would get that? Oh, Warren Murray might not have, or I'm sorry, T-Roy Gaines might not have gotten it, but he did get across that first down marker.
Yeah, and it looked like for sure that Indianapolis played the perfect play to stop T-Roy Gaines, but you have to remember, this is a big boy, and big boys kind of get their way sometimes, and that's what T-Roy got. He got his first down.
Definitely got his way across that first down marker as they hand the ball off again to T-Roy Gaines on that fullback dive. Gets another yard and a half maybe on that one before he's dragged down, this time by Derek Ginkgo on that play.
6'1", 240 pounds of just ramming speed is T-Roy Gaines. He will get his no matter what.
Back to throw, middle, tipped away, incomplete. And looking to pick that one off this time, I believe, yeah, that was Kanye Rockefeller, the veteran safety back there, trying to get another pick to add to his stat sheet, but he gets another pass deflection.
Those defensive backs for both teams have to be chomping at the bit, just salivating over these errant throws being thrown by both quarterbacks. Unorthodox from Jack Wigmore here. 8 of 14. That's very unorthodox.
That pass deflection by Kanye Rockefeller ties him for, I believe, for second place.
Wow.
As that pass is completed in the end zone for a touchdown out there to Ivory Urban for 6 points.
Yeah, and again, that was a pretty errant throw there. You could see Rockefeller once again, along with Blake Prime in the vicinity, but Wigmore relied on Irvin to just beat them enough, so he throws it to the back corner of the end zone, the only place that Irvin could get to. He manages to grab it. Great throw from Wigmore. Great composure after throwing 3 picks in this first half, and now Baltimore's broken the lead a little bit open here.
Yeah, getting a 2-score lead now on that touchdown pass as this extra point by Tarkington is up and through to make the score 21-7. About a little less than 5.5 minutes to go. But going back to that point about the pass deflections by Kanye Rockefeller, that pass deflection he just had there on that drive ties him with Colin Douglas on the all-time list. Tying him with Colin Douglas on the all-time list, at third all-time, not second. So congrats to him on tying him on that stat. As this return is brought up by Rockefeller, is still on his feet, boy. Up to about the 28-yard line. We'll call it the 29 almost before he's brought down on the return.
Yeah, I can't believe that he's running straight after all those spin moves, and he almost made me, hurl a little bit there with all the spin moves there. A human drying machine that guy is sometimes,
Absolutely. First down now for Indianapolis, and Pierce will find his receiver over the middle. That is number 84, Jeff Banfield. One of the few times we've called his name for a completion tonight. That's only his second of the game for a first down.
Yeah, and he's had a couple other targets in this as well. He's only had the 2 targets so far, usually relying on Pearson Roosevelt to get things done. So maybe they need to start relying on Banfield a bit more. He's getting open.
Empty backfield now for Pierce. Over the middle, completed once again at about the 49-yard line. Trying to fight his way for a first down was Randy Pierce, but they're going to say he's about a yard short.
No, they'll take that still. It's 9 yards, and they're really getting those short routes happening a lot that you'll see 4 receivers basically all within 5 to 6 yards of that football being thrown, and Randy gets himself just open enough to get that catch, and a decent 9 yards opens up this playbook here. But they're going heavy sets.
Yeah, heavy set, split backs in the backfield on 2nd and 1. Hands the ball off to Brad Jones. Getting my names mixed up now. It's the first down is upcoming now from about midfield.
Yeah, and that's just busting himself through as quickly as he could. That's all he really worried about, was just getting to the first down marker, get a new set of downs, and move this ball forward, get that drive extended.
Strong I formation now for Indianapolis on 1st and 10 from the midfield stripe. Pierce back to throw, deep drop, looking for a receiver, but that's going to be swatted away, incomplete. Good coverage by the defense out there looking for Randy Pierce, but that was swatted away by one of those linebackers out there and incomplete.
Yeah, and again, that linebacking core does a great job whenever they need to set themselves back just enough to kind of be a little bit of a nuisance for quarterbacks, and like you said, great positioning to get that pass deflection and force them into a 2nd and 10 here.
Back to throw once again, Pierce out there for the swing pass, and that's going to be completed to the fullback this time for a 6-yard gain. We don't call too much on the fullback, but Jared Lawless gets out there for a nice 6 yards before he's brought down.
Yeah, not often he gets the football, like you said, but when they need him, sometimes he can kind of break open to get the yards necessary. And 6, that's a good job from the fullback to get 6 yards and open up the playbook here for Indy.
3rd and 4 from the 44. Hands the ball off to Brad Jones. Off that right-hand side, has a couple of holes, tries to make a spin move, and gets the first down to the 38-yard line.
Yeah, and very good work from Brad Jones just to, like you said, find the open holes and just kind of finesse his way to that first down. And right now, Indy is just playing the game of, we want to keep possession as long as possible to end this half and see if we can carry that momentum into the 3rd quarter.
Back to throw is Pierce over the middle. Oh, good defensive play there. I think he was looking for number 17 Ryan Roosevelt on that go pattern. However, good defensive play made to tip that ball away.
And it looked like Elijah Warfield jumped in front of the football just enough to confuse Banfield on that throw, and just or not Banfield, Roosevelt. Like, I'm getting those two mixed up so badly already. But just confused him enough to just bobble the catch here, it looked like. It might have been a little bit of a deflection as well.
2nd and 10 from the 39. Back in the gun is Pierce. Over the middle, completed. Down to the 31-yard line to set up a 3rd and 2, finding the other Pierce, Randy Pierce, the tight end.
Yeah, Pierce to Pierce has been working out relatively efficiently for the Ramblers offense. A high click rate in terms of connecting the quarterback to the tight end, and right now it opens up a lot of things for 3rd and 2.
Definitely tell they like to go their tight end quite a bit whenever possible, as this pass is going to be completed out there on the left-hand side on an out route, and that is all the way down inside the 20-yard line to the 16, finding Ryan Roosevelt along that sideline.
And this is what Indianapolis needs here. They need to just tire that Baltimore defense, and they're doing a really good job at it with that. And again, we talk about how out routes just need to have enough space to turn to the sidelines and move forward. And again, another great throw from Colin Pierce as we hit the 2-minute warning.
Yeah, we've reached a 2-minute warning here from the Snake Pit with Baltimore up 21-7, but Indianapolis is driving. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the SFL here on Twitch, presented by APM Music. We'll be right back. Nate Hall alongside Brett Killian on the call for this evening's game. Thank you for joining us here in the booth for this one. As this ball is handed off to Brad Jones, and that's only going to go for a gain of about 2 yards before he's tackled.
Yeah, and just a quick handoff from Pierce to Brad Jones and see if he could just try to get Baltimore kind of, caught in a lull, but that defensive line, again, all through the season has been ready for those runs.
2nd and 9 from the 15. Back to throw. is Pierce out to the swing pass to Brad Jones. That's a nasty step
Lord,
arm on Still. Oh, they're going to say he's down at the goal line. I was waiting for him to reach that ball out over the pylon, but he didn't have enough mustard on it to go get across the goal line for the touchdown. But just a nasty run after catch.
Yeah, in the words of Jim Houston, I was about ready to say awesome individual play to get the touchdown, but he just gets stopped right at the goal line. I thought he had it, but Brad Jones, he has been fantastic in this first half and has really helped Indianapolis move this ball forward on this drive. Now at the goal line, 3 chance to punch their ticket.
I say give the ball again to Brad Jones, but that's just me. Let's see if they go to him here. They do hand it to Brad Jones out to the left. Oh, and he's going to go down for a loss of about 3.5 yards as number 56 comes in, Alvin Mack, for a big tackle for loss.
And if you're going to go on the outside run, the running backs have to have that burst of speed right away, especially with the linebackers essentially just going all blitz at that stage. And once again, a tackle for loss.
It's this handoff made once again to Brad Jones, and he's going to say short, this time at the 1. They're going to go hurry up inside a minute now. 3rd and goal, hands the ball off one more time to Brad Jones, and he's in. Touchdown, Brad Jones, his 2nd of the night.
Give that man a pair, and he's been basically the entire offense here for Indianapolis, as he's gotten all 13 points for this crew. But what a drive from Indianapolis after Baltimore scoring and opening up this lead to 14. It seemed like it was just going to be another Baltimore Vultures football game, but Indianapolis, with time remaining still in that second quarter, finds a way to, pluck that drive, make it a 4.5 minute, just a tough affair for the defense, and get themselves to the end zone here. And they're going to carry that momentum in the locker room, even if there's 51 seconds left.
As this kick is up and through by Larry Barr, their place kicker, and that'll make the score 21-14 now. Only a 7-point difference with about 51 seconds left here until halftime. And correct me if I'm wrong here, Brett, but I believe to start the game, Indianapolis took the ball away to Baltimore on the opening kickoff. So Indianapolis with a chance at a 2-score chance at the end of half and beginning of the second half if they can hold Baltimore here.
Yeah, and Indianapolis now will have 50 seconds or so, 45 as it ticks down. As the ball lands at the 24-yard line after Ivory Irvin trying to fight his way around. But like I said, around 45 seconds just to stop Baltimore's offense from scoring any points. And like you said, they'll get the football in the third quarter, so they have a chance to make that a 2-score swing.
So, but that being said, you got to think that Baltimore's going to try to score, so that doesn't happen. We'll see what they do and how aggressive they get here on this drive with 46 seconds left. Trips to the top of the screen. Yeah, trips to the top of the screen for Whitmore. Out to the left on that out route. It is complete, and he finds Mac Chima, I believe that is, on that top hand side. It is for a good 12-yard gain.
Yeah, and a great play call from Baltimore, having that trips to the left side and having them bunched up really close. You haven't seen that all too often from Baltimore's offense in this first half. And even though Jack Whitmore threw an absolute duck to Mac Chima, he still had the wherewithal to find that football and have enough space to keep running past the first down marker and get a quick first down for Baltimore.
Jack Whitmore trying to lead this offense to another scoring drive right before the halftime break. Definitely not having his best first half so far in this one, but trying to make amends for it here late going stages in the half. But the swing pass is out there for a loss of about 2 on the play to Warren Murray.
And interesting here, Baltimore's not going with the hurry up. They think they maybe have 1 or 2 more plays set up possibly to continue moving forward. They're still going fast to the line, but time's ticking for them if they want to score some points here at the end of the half.
15 seconds and counting with 2nd and 12 coming up. Whitmore to throw, and that's going to be a pressure, and he did get the ball away, so they're going to call it 3rd and 12. But Derek Ginkgo, a man who is leading this team in sacks for this Indianapolis squad, gets in the backfield for the pressure.
Yeah, and very, very easily, I would say Derek Ginkgo is probably the most valuable player on this Ramblers team. With 10 sacks and 14 tackles for loss, he has been a standout on this Ramblers team.
5 wide now and into the backfield for Wigmore. Deep throw over the right side,
Oh,
wide open. Matt
boy.
Chima, 20, 10, 5, touchdown. Matt Chima got behind Indianapolis defense and went all the way for the score for 6.
I believe the term we're looking for here is third time's the charm. And that has been the route we've been looking for on Mac Chima. That has been intercepted twice, if I'm not mistaken, from the same route. But this time, Chima just gets enough separation, just enough separation for Wigmore to have the confidence to throw that a third time. It connects. And Baltimore, after Indianapolis tries to carry the momentum at the end of the half, says, "Nuh-uh, we're going to have this extension to the lead back."
What a reply that was by Baltimore, as that snap was bobbing a little bit, but it does get down, and the kick is up and through by Tarkington to make the score Baltimore 28, Indianapolis 14, with 3 seconds left here until the halftime break.
Yeah, Indianapolis, the defense has to be frustrated by allowing 28 points, and they have tried their toughest for sure. They've had a bunch of great opportunities, but Baltimore still finds a way to score these big points. And 28 in the first half is very tough to get most of the time.
To answer Dr. Thomas Paternity's question in the chat, Indianapolis will get the ball. Oh no, that's not good. No, he's still on his feet.
No
20, touchdown. Baltimore on the fumble recovery for 6.
You have got to be kidding me. If things couldn't get any worse for Indianapolis, allowing a 66-yarder for Mac Chima, immediately, right away, Marvin Himes gets the fumble recovery, stays untouched after he stands up, and just trots his way to the end zone. I have never seen that in my broadcasting career. That is just jaw-dropping.
You always see something you don't expect here in the Simulation Football League, and I think we just saw one here tonight as that kick is up and through by Shark Tarkington. That makes the score quickly 35-14 as we had triple zeros here at the halftime break with Baltimore up by 3 scores. And Brent, just as we're heading into the halftime break here and approaching the second half here quickly, what are you just try to get your thoughts on this first half?
My mind's still on the fumble recovery right now, but Indianapolis, after having such a successful drive to almost end the half, 14-point swing to come afterwards, that's got to be demoralizing for them, but they have to recover here on this ensuing drive.
Yeah, we'll see how their offense comes and responds on this first drive after the halftime break, as the kickoff is returned by Rockefeller up to the 28-yard line, and we'll see them on offense first here in the third quarter.
Yeah, and at this point, you're down 21, and you might have to force to throw it deep and see if you can, create some sparks essentially going through that route. And Brad Jones might have to take a back seat a little bit here so that they can go for the deep routes.
They do come out in a gun formation with 3 wide to the bottom of the screen. Back throw is Pierce over to the middle, and he's nobody home as he's looking for Jeff Banfield on that crossing pattern.
Yeah, it was just a couple yards overthrown there from Pierce, but you can see right away Indianapolis was down by quite a bit before to DC, so they know that they had to kind of change up their playbook in situations like this. Baltimore is a very, very tough team defensively, but if you're going to strike them, you're going to hit him. You're going to try to hit him in the jugular, and you got to go with their deep plays.
And you say Canton. Remember what they did to them earlier in the season, so anything's possible. Yeah. 2nd and 10 now from Indianapolis' 28-yard line. Hands the ball off to Brad Jones, and he'll go down after a gain of about 4 or 5 there off that left-hand side to set up a third and manageable.
No, it's not too bad of an idea to at least get Brad Jones involved a little bit here and a little bit there. But on second down, you have to start thinking about throwing the football. Those runs are probably ideal on first downs, if anything. Now sets up a 3rd and 6 where in any third down situation, they have to throw it.
Back to throw is Pierce. Over to the right-hand side, completed, and that's going to be a first down completion out there on the right to Jay Viper. One of the first times, if not the first time we've called his name tonight.
And a quick out route from Jay Viper. Nobody covering the flats gave him plenty of space, and it caused two defenders to try to run forward and try to get to Viper. That was both Devin King and Ben Stacking Paper on the joint tackle there. But nonetheless, Indy gets another first down.
The only starting receiver not to have a completion in this game so far is second tight end Gibson Rickenbacker. We'll see if he gets one later in the game as this pass is made out there in the flats to Brad Jones. Brad Jones gets a 6-yard gain out there on the right-hand side to set up a 2nd and 4.
Yeah, and if they're going to continue with those swing passes, the linebackers are going to have quite a day ahead of them there, as both Alvin Mack and Devin King were in the vicinity of Brad Jones on the swing pass, and Mack gets to him before any big damage could be caused, but it's still a good 6-yard completion out of that.
Split backs in the backfield on 2nd and 4 from Baltimore's 47-yard line. Pierce hands the ball off to Jones. Jones right at the middle, tries to make a spin move, and gets just enough for the first down at the 43-yard line.
A good job with kind of mixing things up here, but Brad Jones definitely is the main beneficiary of this drive so far. Gets a nice little swing pass, and this time just a run up the gut to get the first down. Indy, I would start saying to stop being a little bit pretty with these plays. You should start aiming for the deep ones, especially if Baltimore is going to go with man coverage here.
Hands the ball off again to Brad Jones, and Brad Jones will get about 4 yards on the play to Baltimore's 39-yard line.
Yeah, and I don't mind the idea of Brad Jones getting more carries here. But like I said, you're down 21 at this point, and you need to get points quickly. You don't want to, start extending these drives super long, because time is of the essence at this point. Down 21, you need to get scores as quickly as possible and force Baltimore on the offensive side to break play.
Well, they will hit the ball off to Brad Jones on 2nd and 6, and they do get the first down with a run right at the middle.
Yeah, and it just seems like they're going to go with their tried and true, and I don't mind that as long as it continues getting first downs for them. And right now it's really working because they keep marching down the field, and Brad Jones has been, smashing linebackers as he's getting these yards.
That the front 5 for the offensive linemen have been doing good at blocking, but as soon as I say that, they get a tackle for loss, does Baltimore, as number 35, Ben Stacking Paper, comes in from his cornerback position for a TFL.
Yeah, and Stacking Paper playing the role of, the dime back most of the time, but he comes in with the run support and basically gets to Jones right away, untouched. No fullback, no offensive lineman could get to him. And then there you go, another tackle for loss for Baltimore.
2nd and 12 from the 34-yard line. Back in the gun is Pierce to throw the right, and looking for Randy Pierce on that right-hand side, but off the hands and incomplete.
Yeah, and there's has been a few issues over the last couple of games of Randy Pierce's hands, and he's dropped a couple of key passes throughout the season. So in this second down opportunity, thankfully they have a third down out of this, but that should have been an easy first down catch for Randy.
Empty backfield now on 3rd and 12 from the 34-yard line. Plenty of time to throw. Over the middle, that's completed, and a nice gain for the first down to the 22-yard line out there, completed by Ryan Roosevelt.
Just enough for Ryan Roosevelt to playing the slant pass on what was essentially bump coverage, and Marvin Himes had a heck of a time trying to stay with them, trying to stay behind, thinking he might go for maybe a comebacks route perhaps. But this time he goes with the slant and stays in front of him, and just enough for the first down.
Back in the gun is Pierce under center is Pierce on first down, and gets a completion out to the 10-yard line, and that's Jeff Banfield once again to set up a 1st and goal.
Yeah, go with your reliable options here. Roosevelt gets you the first down earlier, and this time Banfield, another quick first down, and now 1st and goal situation here for Indianapolis. Another great drive from the Ramblers offense here.
Weak eye formation for Indianapolis on 1st and goal from the 9-yard line. Hands the ball off to Brad Jones. Brad Jones tries to spin move, but can't get out of a couple of tacklers for Baltimore as he's dragged down for no gain.
Yeah, and once Baltimore kind of reads what kind of play is going to happen on the offensive side, they knew that first down and goal situations they love to run with Brad Jones, and the defensive line again was quite ready for it, and basically no gain on that play.
Back to throw is Pierce off to the right, this time to the fullback, and he'll get about 4 yards on that play before he's tackled, setting up a 3rd and goal from the 5 to Lawless.
Yeah, and they kind of misdirected Baltimore here, thinking they might go with Jones on the left side, but instead they go with Lawless, the fullback. And again, it gets them a decent chunk of yardage here. Another 4 yards, sets up a 3rd and goal here at the 5, and it definitely opens up situations here. They're going to go empty set, surprisingly.
Yeah, surprising that they only have 5 yards to go to the goal line. They do go empty backfield here on 3rd and goal. Back throws Pierce over the middle,
good
wide
catch.
open, touchdown, Randy Pierce for 6 points as to get wide open in the middle of that end zone.
And there you go, securing the football this time. Randy Pierce just need to get proper hands on the football, and that is a key touchdown after Baltimore had a fantastic, pretty much a picture-perfect 50-second drill, you could almost call it. And Indianapolis on their first drive back gets the touchdown, but they chewed up a lot of clock out of that. So they really have to, pick things up and maybe quicken the pace the next time they're on offense.
Yeah, that drive for Indianapolis took well over 5.5 minutes off the, almost 5.5 minutes off the clock, as this kick is up and through by Larry Barr to trim the lead down to 14 by Baltimore. Baltimore yet to get the ball here in the second half.
Yeah, now Indy's job here is try to stop that offense. Baltimore so far has had 236 yards of total offense, and you've got to find a way to basically turn that into a null and void and force them to punt the football away.
As the kick is away and returned from the goal line by Ivory Urban, and brought out right through the middle to about the 26-yard line. That's where we'll see the offense get their first possession here on offense. A reminder that the SFL Weekly Fantasy Contest is officially up and running. You can draft the best team every week while staying under the salary cap, or maybe you just want to enhance your SFL experience. Free to play, no season-long commitment, and a new contest opens every week on Tuesday night. Join now and show off your fantasy skills to the rest of the league. Contact Jack Wells, Stephen Hacker, or Hunter Norwood to join today. As back in the gun is Jack Wigmore, and that'll be completed for a gain of about 4 yards on the play, 2nd and 6.
Yeah, and you have to think from Baltimore's perspective here is that you're up multiple scores. They could probably settle this one down a little bit and start throwing the short passes like you saw there, a 4-yard out route, and really start heavily relying on Warren Murray and T-Roy Gaines, which they have been doing throughout this game. Wigmore has only had 20 attempts to throw the football, so let's see if they keep running the football this time.
They will pass it, though, on 2nd and 6. They find a receiver open across the middle. Daley Holder will get the first down at the Baltimore 39-yard line.
Yeah, and it seems like that Mac Chima 66-yarder very much scared that Indianapolis defense, and all the linebackers and defensive backs stayed back, so the short routes were wide open, and that was just an easy throw and catch for Wigmore.
They will go power I here on first down. Wide open right at the middle for a good 5-yard gain is Warren Murray to set up a 2nd and medium.
Yeah, and this will be the opportunity here. This set of downs will be key for Indianapolis if they're going to stop Baltimore from essentially getting any points, because once Baltimore gets into enemy territory, it feels like they're unstoppable once they get into that point, especially with Warren Murray. If he gets inside the 40-yard line, he could bust out open for huge yards and big touchdowns. So this is a key 2nd and 3rd down coming up.
Wigmore changing the play at the line with split backs in the backfield. Let's see if they hand the ball off to one of their running backs. They will not. He throws it off this formation and finds a completion all the way down to the 36-yard line. Mac Chima finds an opening for a big first down.
Yeah, and he basically splits the opening between Chris Britton III, and it looked to be that is 45. Yeah, Chris Britton and Ham Anderson were kind of in the vicinity of that, but it was just a picture-perfect throw from Wigmore, and that now could become a potential nightmare here for Indianapolis' defense, now with Baltimore inside the 40.
This time they will hand the ball out to T-Roy Gaines. Plenty of space to roam, all the way out for a 9-yard gain to the 27-yard line.
Yeah, absolutely nobody touched T-Roy Gaines on that 2nd level. It took the 3rd level, the safeties, to get any involvement on T-Roy, and that gets you 9 yards any day of the week.
Second and 1 from the 27-yard line. Stats for Murray and gains on the ground almost identical as far as attempts and yards go. Back to throw is Wigmore. Plenty of time to throw. Finds the receiver off to the left and gets Lloyd Graham Jr. off to the side by the sidelines for a first down completion.
Yeah, and Baltimore's getting what they want right now. They're finding open opportunities. Wigmore has been, picture perfect through the air. And right now, this is prime opportunity for the running backs if they want to just strike it in and get those points back if they want. But they're going to go shotgun with trips to the right.
Shotgun on first down at the 18-yard line. Wigmore back to throw. Plenty of time once again, but off the hands and incomplete. Wigmore looking for a pass interference call. I don't think that was going to get one, though. I think that was good coverage.
Yeah, absolutely no chance. Jack, I know you're trying to get extra yards there, but there is absolutely no case for pass interference. That's just your tight end missing the catch. Lloyd Graham Jr., it looked like it hit his hands, then his shoulder pad, and then drops to the ground. And now 2nd and 10 here. Nothing to shrug for on the Baltimore side. They're inside the red zone.
Hands the ball off to Warren Murray on 2nd and 10. Shoves a defender down, but gets hit for his troubles by Kanye Rockefeller after an 8-yard gain. Warren Murray, though, with a nasty stiff arm.
Yeah, and it looked like Murray was gone up to that point, but Rockefeller said, hey, we can't allow any more points on this drive, so he just essentially knocks Murray down, just basically nullify any chance of getting the end zone.
Back to throws, Wigmore on 3rd down.
Oh.
That's going to be completed. That was close to being pass interference, but the refs keep the yellow flag in their pockets, looking for DJ Bandit on a completion in the end zone to set up a 4th down.
Yeah, that's the one you want to start, throwing your hands down and saying pass interference, Jack. Where are you on that one? I would almost say that is a textbook pass interference call, but the refs keep it in the pocket and force Shark Tarkington to kick this chip shot field goal, essentially.
And when you got Shark Tarkington, who's been perfect all season long and has been perfect as much as he has been across his span of his career, why not? 26 yards out is up and good to send this lead out to 38-21.
Now Indianapolis, you got to start thinking from the offensive side. Quick fire strikes. You've got about 13 and a little bit of change left in this game. And that clock can tick pretty fast when you're on the offensive side, down 17. So really got to start thinking about deep plays and quick drives.
As this kickoff is away and returned by Rockefeller from the 2. Right up the middle, trying to find some blockers. Gets a couple, but gets brought down to the 27-yard line. And we'll see the offense come out from there on their next possession. Visit the SFL website at simulationfl.net for info about the league and its 28 teams. All the places you can watch live games, plus links to apparel from Sector 6 and SFL mini helmets from 97 Sports Promotions. See all the league records, team stats, player leaderboards, the rankings of the next class of SFL talent, and so much more. SimulationFL.net, your home for everything SFL. As that run out goes absolutely nowhere, as Brad Jones gets snuffed out by Bull.
Yeah, and I hate to keep repeating myself, but I don't think Brad Jones should be getting a lot of carries here on this drive, and you got to start relying on Colin Pierce and seeing how far he could throw that football, because you can see the example there. That defensive line is ready for the first down runs.
Back in the gun is Pierce over the middle. That one was almost picked off. That could have been easily picked off right there by Troy Lowshaw, but it bounces off his hands and incomplete.
Yeah, for a first half that included 6 interceptions, it seems like the secondaries have started to turn their hands into stone. We haven't seen any interceptions yet in this second half, but there's been plenty of opportunity for both defensive backs to get some.
Back in the gun is Pierce on 3rd and 10. Over the middle, bounces off of Randy Pierce's head, it looks like, over the middle, and incomplete, setting up the 4th down.
Yeah, and it just didn't seem like the play that was going to get anything forward. I don't think that was even going to get a first down if that was caught by Randy Pierce. Everyone went on a slant. There was a textbook 90 all slants play that transpired, but that wasn't going to get a first down. You got to start being a little bit more aggressive here in Indianapolis.
And we will definitely not the offensive possession Indianapolis was looking for there, as they get a 3 and out here and have to punt the ball away back to Baltimore. And Baltimore will look to run as much clock as possible for the rest of this third quarter, I'm sure, as this return is made by Ivory Urban out to the 44-yard line.
Yeah, and this is Baltimore's chance to basically almost ice this at the end of the third quarter here, up 17. And I know that Indy has come back from 30 before, but they had an entire second half to come back from this. Now that you've got 12 and a half essentially left in this game now, if they score a touchdown, that's it. It makes it nigh impossible for them to come back.
Hand the ball off to Warren Murray, and that's going to be a tackle on the play for no gain, made right there by number 20, Blake Prine, in prime position for the tackle.
Yeah, and this is what Indianapolis needs. They just need to stop any opportunity for runs, halt them right away, force Wigmore to throw the football on third down. And right now, they'll probably have another opportunity for Warren Murray here, so that defense has to be ready.
Hands the ball off once again to Warren Murray. Has a little bit of an opening right up the middle for about a 2-yard gain, but that closed quickly as Britton came in for the stop.
Yeah, and that's, again, it's a great defensive play from Indianapolis to stop Murray, essentially, and force them into a 3rd and long situation. Now 3rd and 8, forcing Wigmore to throw the football.
And they look to throw the football here on. We'll look to throw here on 3rd and 8 over the middle, and that's going to be completed down there by Daly Holder inside the 40 to the 39-yard line.
Yeah, and that's the difference between Indy's defense and Baltimore's defense. It seems like in this game they're just in the perfect place, but it seems like the offensive players for Baltimore just know where to go to get themselves open, and that's really been the separation in this game so far. And another first down for Baltimore, now in enemy territory, and they're going to continue moving forward here.
Back in the gun once again is Wigmore. On first down, over the middle, once again, batted around and incomplete. That was a good chance for Indy's defense to come away with an interception, but it did just get a pass deflection as it hits the turf.
Yeah, they had 3 defensive players kind of in the hands of the football there, but it just kind of drops, and that would have been a great momentum shifter to get the football back with Baltimore trotting down the field, and now it's going to be 2nd and 10, and don't be surprised if we see Warren Murray on a quick sneak run here.
Back to throw is Wigmore on 3rd down, batted away, incomplete. Kanye Rockefeller back there with yet another pass deflection. He'll take over 3rd place all by himself in the all-time list with 125 now on his career.
You'll see there, it's just barely enough. It almost looked like it hit his chest instead of his hands, and we'll see a little bit closer here. It hit his back pretty much, and that might have been just enough distraction for the receiver just not to be in the right place of the football. And this is a big 3rd and 10 now for Indianapolis. If they can prevent basically 5 yards out of this, they won't get any, Baltimore won't get any points out of this.
Yeah, be a big 3rd down here for Indianapolis to try to get off the field. Wigmore back in the gun all by himself. Plenty of time to throw over the middle. Completed down to the 20-yard line for a first down, Daly Holder.
Yeah, what a way to end the quarter for Baltimore with that great throw and catch to Daly Holder. And you'll see just a post route from the middle of the 3 receivers, just getting himself open enough to grab that catch. Ham Anderson just a little bit behind, which forces Bryant James, the other safety, to try to catch up and grab the tackle.
And we've reached the end of the 3rd quarter here. Put your 4s, your 68s, your 86s, your 12s all up in chat, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching the SFL here on Twitch. Here on Twitch. Don't go anywhere. Nate Hall alongside Brett Killian on the call here this evening for tonight's game. Justin Reside and Gino McFly in the stats truck, making us look smarter than we are as this handoff is made to Warren Murray for no gain on the play at the 20-yard line.
Yeah, if you combine the IQs of me and Nate, we probably get to 67 at that point. But,
Close.
Yeah, Baltimore, this is kind of their territory to kind of just shed the clock as much as possible. They'll be fine with a field goal because that'll push them up to to a very comfortable a lead at that point, and Indianapolis's defense needs to be ready to stop.
Deep drop back for Wingmore. Deep over the middle.
Oh
Pass.
boy.
Touchdown. Ivory Irvin. That might seal this one, as this is early in the fourth quarter and they go up 44-21.
Yeah, and that's just just a miscommunication. You could see on that far left side, Blake Prine just not recognizing Irvin going the post route down the middle, and that just leaves him wide open for the touchdown. And like you said, this probably seals the deal here, and they're going to be up 24 if they get this extra point.
On for the extra points. That the stack is down, kick is up and through, and it will make the score 45-21. Just under 30 seconds into this fourth quarter. And a good time to remind you that APM Music is unrivaled music to bring your stories to life, inspiring every production with the world's most robust and constantly refreshed music collection, state-of-the-art technology, and world-class customer service. APM Music is the official soundtrack of the Simulation Football League. To explore their library and to find the perfect tracks for your projects, visit apmmusic.com. As this return by Rockefeller is brought from about the goal line up through the right side to about the 24-yard line, and that's where we'll see Pearson Company start this next drive.
Yeah, we'll see the team stats kind of throw up there, but you'll see Baltimore's kind of basically dominated the offensive game with 356 total yards now, and it's been both running and passing that's kind of destroyed Indianapolis's defense to the 45. Take away 7, make that 38, including that special teams touchdown from Baltimore.
Back to throw is Pierce on first down. Over the middle, picked off.
Oh, man.
That is not what Colin Pierce needed at this stage of this ball game, and that's going to be picked off by number 36 on that play. Yeah, Loshaw with his second of the game.
And it was thrown right to him, essentially. And that's a prime example of your quarterback, I wouldn't say giving up necessarily, but just, just not in the right headspace, kind of just out of it at this point. And basically it was a beeline straight to Loshaw, and Loshaw just made an easy catch and a quick interception right away, has Baltimore's offense back out on the field.
Colin Pierce now with 5 interceptions thrown in this ball game as this handoff is made to Warren Murray, and he'll get dragged down after no gain on that play as Chad McDevitt comes in with that tackle.
Yeah, and there's going to be a lot of run plays moving forward for Baltimore here. You're up comfortably at this point. And you're pretty much already in Shark Tarkington range. We've seen 50-yarders from him throughout his career.
Absolutely, as this handoff is made once again to Warren Murray. This time he gets about 3 yards. I'm sorry, that's T. Roy Gaines this time. Gets 3 yards before he's dragged down right there by Chris Britton III.
Yeah, they're gonna split the role of handing the ball off both to Gaines and to Murray here. They kind of tick this clock away, but now with a 3rd and 7, they might spice things up here with a pass, which it looks like they will.
Yeah, they do come empty set here, empty backfield for Wigmore on 3rd and 7. Back to throw is Wigmore, deep over the middle.
Oh,
picked
wow.
off. That's going to be taken away by Indianapolis' defense. Brought back to about the 22-yard line. Bryant James with his second pick of the game.
Now we're starting to get into the second quarter territory where quarterbacks were starting to throw picks back and forth to themselves. Bryant James now gets his second interception of the game and now gives Indianapolis an opportunity to try to cut this lead a little bit shorter.
We will see how Colin Pierce responds after their defense gives him an absolute gift after that last defensive play. Split backs from the backfield on 1st and 10 from the 22. Back to throw. Short pass over the middle. Just dumps it off. Safe throw, but a gain of 5 yards. Bring up 2nd and 5.
And there is the last star receiver need to be involved there. Gibson Rickenbacker gets himself his first catch of the game here. And just a simple check down, leaving himself just open enough to kind of run a little bit more forward here. A decent 5 yards.
So all-star receivers for Indianapolis has at least one catch in this game. That's certainly a stat line that you'd like to have if you're on Indianapolis's team. Back to throw is Pierce, and
Late hit.
oh yeah, it might be a late hit on Rickenbacker with 2 straight completions now on this drive.
Yeah, that man's upset after the late hit and should maybe trying to make his case a little bit more, excuse me, and that's exactly what they're going to call, and that's going to be 15 yards forward, and that might be a little bit of a blessing here for Indianapolis.
Frank Smith, the guilty party on that 15-yarder after that late hit was called on him on that infraction. Just comes over and just you can't come over late on that one and expect to get away with it.
Yeah, it's just he was already down at this point, and that's the risk when you start diving for tackles, is that somebody might already get to him on the touch, and then you'll get him afterwards, and that'll be 15 yards against you.
First and 10 from the 45-yard line. Hands the ball off to Brad Jones, and that'll be a loss of a yard on the play as Devin King comes in for a tackle for loss. Once again, we've called his name multiple times this evening.
Oh yeah, he's been heavily involved in this defense, getting plenty of tackles. That's his 8th total tackle if you go with his 2 assisted as well. He's been all over the place.
Back in the gun is Pierce on 2nd and long over the middle. That's going to be completed. And a first down made by Indianapolis. Randy Pierce getting back in on the action.
Hold up there, Nate.
Oh,
third and 1.
I thought he fell forward. Excuse me on that one. I thought he spun around and fell forward, but they're going to call him short by a yard.
Yes, that's the knee down, and everybody in football, once that situation happens, they want to rip their own kneecaps off if that happens. But there you are, 3rd and 1.
3rd and 1 now for Indianapolis. Hands the ball off to Brad Jones. That's going nowhere. That's going to be a tackle for loss. 2 outs. Devin King comes in for yet another TFL, hhis 3rd of the game.
His 3rd TFL, which brings him up to the upper echelon of linebackers. That's his 14th tackle for loss, and has as much as Al Walker does in the league so far.
So that'll bring up a punt now for Indianapolis, as they did not get the first down, and Ivory Irvin will bring this punt up to the 17-yard line, and with about 6:40 left, we'll try to run as much clock out as possible.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Baltimore wants to do. They want to get back home at this rate. They've pretty much sealed the deal at this point, up to 24, and basically just needs to shed as much clock as possible. Expect Warren Murray, expect T-Roy Gaines, maybe expect maybe a couple of the backups come in as well once we get into the 3 minutes and under.
Well, they do come out in a shotgun formation with 2 wideouts to the bottom of the screen, so they will pass here on first down. A nice out route there to T-Roy Gaines for a good 7-yard gain along the sideline, step a 2nd and short.
Yeah, and it's pretty much a glorified run play instead this time, with both running backs going to opposite side flats. And yes, 2nd and 2, and the clock still ticks.
High formation now for Baltimore. Hands the ball off to Murray. Murray falls forward, but they're going to say he had a knee down before he crossed the line to gain for the first down.
Yeah, and these refs are being a little bit finicky with their ball placements here. This time knocking Warren Murray's knees down first, and makes it a 3rd and inches. And big opportunity for Indianapolis' defense to stop Baltimore right on its tracks.
Inside linebacker backup Rick Mears on that last tackle to make sure he didn't cross that first down line. As this handoff is made to Warren Murray, wide open spaces on that left-hand side, all the way down inside the 50 to the 42-yard line, and Warren Murray with an absolute beauty of a run.
Yeah, and we've been kind of waiting for Warren Murray to bust out on that big run, and this time it was just perfect blocking, and you can see the one key block just on that left side just gives enough space for Murray to keep running down that sideline and make that a huge run for him. 31 yards goes Murray.
Beauty of a 31-yard gain on that left-hand side. Set up a first down. Back to throw it is Wigmore. Nice out route once again to Lloyd Graham Jr., and that's going to be another first down inside the 30.
That's just another quick out route for Lloyd Graham, and he's been feasting on those, as you'll see here. Just a nice little out route. Again, playing that wide receiver spot, that kind of slot receiver area, gets him just a quick short out route, and nobody's within the sidelines of him. So he's just going to keep running forward.
In these late stages of the fourth quarter, you'd think they'd start putting on the cruise control, but they are still staying aggressive here. Is Baltimore now inside the 30-yard line to the 27. 1st and 10 from this spot. Back to throw is Wigmore. Deep over the right-hand side, and that's going to be batted away. A good defense by Indianapolis. It falls incomplete, as that is number 25 for Indianapolis. Ernest McCray Sr. on the good defense.
Yeah, and Indies are going to definitely be ready for those deep passes. Surprisingly, Baltimore kind of wants to run up the score here and make Indianapolis pay here.
I formation on 2nd and 10 from the 27 for Baltimore. Hands the ball off this time to Warren Murray. Warren Murray gets about a 2-yard gain on that play to set up a 3rd and long.
Yeah, and I don't think Baltimore minds because it's still going to shed that clock. They're in Tarkington range at this point, and they're just going to continue just at this point just really focusing on shedding that clock down.
Back in the gun, however, is Wigmore on 3rd and 8 from the 25-yard line. Going for the jugular on this play against Indianapolis. Taking his time, however, to snap it to let the clock run down as much as possible. Back to throw is Wigmore over the middle, and that's going to be batted away and incomplete. Looking for Daly Holder across the middle, but it falls to the turf. Incomplete pass.
Yeah, it was good coverage work from the Indy defensive backs to make sure that just basically nobody gets through that first down line. And if you need to tackle someone as they're trying to catch it, you're going to do that. Just great work from Indianapolis, and forces Tarkington to come back out on the field for this 42-yarder.
About 42 yards out from straightaway in between the hash marks. Kick is up, and it is through from 42 yards out to extend this Baltimore lead up to 48-21 over Indianapolis. And Indianapolis now will fall to 2-6 on the season, and Baltimore, for practical at this stage of the ball game, will go to 8-0 and remain undefeated.
Yeah, and this will look good for them no matter what in this situation, because even if London wins in their matchup against Seattle tomorrow, they'll probably have the better strength of victory coming out of this, so they will get first place at the end of this week.
We all know that London-Seattle spread has been one of the biggest news of the week. 30.5-point spread favorites over Seattle is the largest in SFL history. So we'll have to see how that one shapes out. But for now, this return is brought out by Rockefeller to the 29-yard line. And Pierce will get one more crack at it here on offense.
And we'll see on the top left hand of your screen there, it goes final in DC as the Dragons continue their torrid pace, go to 6-1 as they beat Charleston 34-16. Back
to throw is Pierce. Nice out route out there to the right of the formation to his wide receiver Banfield for a 6-yard gain.
Yeah, excuse me, it was 7-1 for the Dragons. I said 6-1 earlier. That's my mistake. But you're going to see a lot of that from Indianapolis. It's going to be those out routes just to stop the clock, as it just feels like they don't rely on those deep passes all too often. They really rely on just getting small chunks of yardage down the field. But when you're down 27, I say get your big guns out.
Put it back in the backfield on 2nd and 4. Pierce to throw over the middle. One-handed completion made at the 43-yard line. They'll go hurry up.
Yeah, they need to go hurry up if they want to score some points here.
1st and 10 from the 43. Same formation, split backs to the backfield. Pierce to throw. Picked up. Another pick six coming. 20, 10, 5. Touchdown, Baltimore. Elijah Warfield gets in on the pick action. This time for a pick six. Say 50 burger? Yes, please. 54 points on the board.
Yeah, and we're witnessing a 50 burger from the SFL's Burger King right over here alongside Nate the Great, And this is what Baltimore does. They pounce you on defense, and you see here again with Warfield just being in the right place, and that is pick six territory. No matter what happens on that pick, there was nobody going to touch him. Absolutely no problem. And Baltimore just adding insult to injury at this point.
Yeah, insult to injury with 3.5 minutes to go in this ball game as Tarkington is on to attempt this extra point. Snap was bobbled a little bit, but the kick is up and still through to make the score Baltimore 55 and Indianapolis 21. And a reminder that tomorrow on Next Level Sports, coverage of the Simulation Football League continues at 8:45 Eastern with a Pacific Division clash between the LA Lycans and the Portland Fleet. Live look-ins plus live look-ins on Canton Motor City. For a channel guide and more info about NXT, visit NLSE.com. This return, one more time, is made by Rockefeller from about the goal line to the 26-yard line.
Yeah, and again, Indianapolis just shrugged that one off. See if you can get your offense going here, and just start working on plays that you haven't tried yet in this game. It's pretty much over at this point. And start getting some plays in you didn't think would probably get out there. Ones that you've experimented at practice. Let's see if those will work.
3 wide in the formation with one back in the backfield on first down for Pierce. Over to the middle. That one's tipped away and caught. Somehow the receiver was able to hold on to that one. Pierce with the reception on that one. Maybe that was Rickenbacker. Excuse me. But to go hurry up here, Pierce over to the left-hand side this time. This time it's batted away by, this time it was Bolt on their pass deflection.
Yeah, and Enzo Bolt wants his third of this game, make it a hat trick just to make things better for both himself and the Vultures defense. As at this point, both teams really looking just to pad their stats. Baltimore's looks like a lot of their starters are still out in the game, up 34. So they're really looking to take it to Indianapolis here.
2nd and 10 coming up here for Indianapolis. Can't say enough about the concentration, though, by the tight end on that first down play on that previous completion by Indianapolis. That was an amazing catch on that pass deflection. Back to throw is Pierce. Out in the flats to Brad Jones. Brad Jones tries to make the defender miss, does so, tries to spin, and he gets the first down yardage out to Baltimore's 48-yard line.
Yeah, and Brad Jones did a really good job just, get himself more separation after the catch. And you can see here on the replay, seeing that Enzo Bolt again was in his vicinity, sheds that tackle to at least get to the first down marker. And Brad Jones, despite Indianapolis's woes throughout this game, has been pretty efficient all around.
Pierce now, definitely not the best of ball games. Now with a 42.4 QBR, 1 touchdown and 5 interceptions, a little over 200 yards passing. Pierce to throw over the middle, completed inside the 40-yard line to the Baltimore's 36. They go hurry up.
Yeah, very nice catch there on that.
Here's the throw out to the flats. Brad Jones. He goes out of bounds after a 2-yard gain to the 35.
Yeah, and that one not as smart of a play there. A little bit too late on the throw there from Colin Pierce. If you're gonna have that swing pass, you want to just throw it quick enough so your running back can turn the corner and get himself just enough space on the sidelines. But there was not enough space for Jones, so it results in basically just a half-yard gain there.
Back in the gun on 2nd and 9 is Pierce. Pierce by himself in the backfield to throw over the middle. 5-yard gain. Excuse me. Randy Pierce on the completion. And they go hurry up. Pierce over the middle. Misses receiver on that left-hand side as he was looking for Roosevelt. Brings up 4th down.
Kind of a bump battle there between Roosevelt and number 44. It looked to be on the Baltimore side. Is that running back Damon Morehouse? Is he playing defense all of a sudden? Am I reading the number wrong?
Not sure. Might be going two ways, but
I might be going
nonetheless,
blind.
nonetheless, they do go for it here on 4th and 3 from the 29-yard line. Weak eye formation. Back to throw is Pierce. Wide open out there in the flats is Brad Jones. Gets the first down.
Oh man,
Fumbles
they got
it.
lucky.
Yeah, lucky for sure as that ball bounces out of bounds to keep possession.
Yeah, and like you said, it was just wide open on that right side. Every defender was guessing deep pass from Pierce, but they went with the swing pass, left wide open, and nobody touched him until way after the first down marker. And bobbled the ball loose. Didn't really matter because it went straight out of bounds, and it's still in Indy's possession.
That'll bring up a 1st and 10 from Baltimore 17-yard line. Indianapolis trying to make one more scoring play here before the end of this one. Colin Pierce back in the gun with 3 wide. Out in the flats is Jones with the completion for a 2-yard gain at the 16-yard line. Hurrying back up to the line. Pierce to throw. They're going to stay with the same play, and this time Jones goes out of bounds for no gain.
Yeah, it's just tough for Indianapolis because they're trying to get something out of this, and it feels like when they take a step forward, they take another step back, and they're back to neutral ground with these hurry ups. They get nice catches for first downs, and then decent scenarios for second down, and it just doesn't work out for them on that second down play.
4 wide and empty backfield for Pierce on 3rd and 9. Plenty of time to throw over the middle, batted up in the air and hits the turf and incomplete as number 50 comes in for Baltimore. Back up inside linebacker DJ Payne with the pass deflection.
Yeah, and Baltimore's starting to throw in a few more backups here as they've got DJ Payne and almost grabbed the 7th interception of this game, or the 6th, I should say, the 6th interception for Baltimore here. It just feels like both quarterbacks have had a bevy of interceptions throughout this game.
One more chance here for a scoring play for Indianapolis. Comes out in the gun, does Pierce. Back to throw over the left-hand side, completed down to the goal line, man. And we've reached a 2-minute warning. We will be right back after this break. You're watching the SFL here on Twitch, presented by APM Music. We'll take a breath. And they're going to say Ed Williams didn't get in the end zone on that last play, so they'll set up 1st and goal from the goal line.
That's tough.
At this point in the game, I'd say give it to him, but that's just me. But Pierce will be back to throw on 1st and goal. Gets hit as he throws, and that's batted up in the air and incomplete as that gets knocked down to the turf by DJ Payne once again.
Yeah, you got 2 dual blocking attempts from DJ Payne and Enzo Bolt basically in the same position, basically making a wall on that pass. But getting hit as you throw is tough to find the accurate target. So that felt like a duck waiting to get intercepted. But they decided to play nice and just bat the ball away this time.
2nd and goal from the goal line. Pierce back to throw once again out in the flats. Brad Jones bends around, touchdown. Brad Jones. That'll be his 3rd touchdown of the ball game, his 1st in the receiving category.
And that will definitely leave Indy with a little bit of a happier note, as it just seemed like they were a step behind once the second quarter started. But Brad Jones, yeah, like you said, gets his 3rd touchdown of the game, 1st one technically through the air on that swing pass. And Indy will definitely come out of this with definitely some positives, even though they're going to drop to 2 and 6.
As Larry Barr comes on to attempt the extra point. That snap is bobbled a bit, but it's placed down and up and through for a score of 55-28 with about a minute 52 left in this one.
Yeah, they're still going to go onside, which I commend them for here. That's not too bad of a decision. See if they can get some more points out of this.
Larry Barr will come on to attempt the onside kick. See if they can get this ball back with about a minute 50 left. And that'll be easily recovered by Baltimore's recovery team. Number 14 comes on to get this one as Baltimore will take over possession. DeAndre Fields with the recovery.
Yeah, and at this point, with $1:51 left, I don't even know if Indy's going to use their timeouts to stop the clock. They might just let this clock run and get out of here so they can talk about practice next week against Minnesota.
As Baltimore comes on and hands the ball off to the backup running back this time. A little bit stutter step action for the backup halfback Damon Morehouse, but he'll get about 11 or 12 yards on that play to set up a first down.
Yeah, it just seemed like Indy wasn't ready for that run right away. They watched Indy's offense kind of run through, and Morehouse got some great blocking, especially from T-Roy Gaines, who's still out there as the fullback. Fantastic block to help Morehouse just get a couple extra yards and get that first down.
They did. Indianapolis did take their first timeout with 1:45 left. First and 10 from the 29 for Baltimore. Split backs in the backfield. And they hand the ball off to T-Roy Gaines, and he absolutely gets hammered right there after a 1 yard gain. They'll give him two. They will give him one. Another timeout taken for Indianapolis.
Yeah, and Indy's still going to use their timeouts just out of respect to the game more than anything else, knowing that, any chance they can get to get the football back, they'll use it. But with Baltimore's backups in, you might expect a Tarkington field goal attempt out of this, or maybe they'll just kneel the football once they're out of timeouts.
Yeah, all the backups are in now for Baltimore on offense. Adam Jefferson taking the snaps now at quarterback. Hands the ball off to Morehouse and gets a gain of about 8 yards before he's brought down for a 3rd and 1 coming up. Indianapolis will take their final timeout.
And that Baltimore offensive line, doesn't matter who you are, it feels like I could probably walk in my real self, not my player. I could probably waltz in and get myself 5 yards out of this Baltimore offensive line that gives you so much space down the gaps.
3rd and 1 from Indianapolis 20. Hands the ball off to Morehouse one more time, and that's going to be a first down for Baltimore, and that'll seal the deal as Morehouse falls forward for a 3 yard gain.
Yeah, and expect victory formation from here on out, and Baltimore will just tick this clock down as they're about 1 minute and 15 seconds away from being 8-0 again.
Yeah, 8-0 and rolling on as this season chugs along. Now 3/4 of the way through the season. It just seems like yesterday that this season started. It's moving along at a fast pace as Adam Jefferson takes a knee with 50 seconds and counting. In Baltimore, it seemed like the pace of this game was really close throughout most of that first half. And then Baltimore just ripped off 14 straight unanswered points within about 50 seconds. It went from about 21-14 all the way to 35-14 right before halftime. And just never looked back. I think that was the difference in the game.
It's essentially was it. It basically blew the wind out of Indy's sails, and they just couldn't get back. And get this, I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is the 3rd straight season that Baltimore is going to start off the season 8-0. How crazy is that?
That is crazy. Baltimore just season after season, it seems like just building their dynasty under the direction of Thomas Paterni under the helm. As the 000s hit the clock and this game is over, your final score: Baltimore Vultures 55, Indianapolis Ramblers 28. Brett, we talked about it all throughout this game, how dominant Baltimore was throughout. Just how did it happen? How was Baltimore so dominant?
Yeah, basically, like you said, it was a manageable game for Indianapolis when it got to about the 2-minute drill left in the 2nd quarter, and then it felt like everything collapsed. You saw the Big Mac Chima touchdown that kind of broke things open to 14, and then all of a sudden, a kickoff fumble returned for a touchdown, and that was essentially 14 straight points on the swing, and I feel like it broke Indy at that point. Once they got into that second half, it just felt like it was the Baltimore Vultures show. You did see that Indy was trying to get back into this game, but it just felt like there was no doubt throughout. another 199 yards of offense in the second half, and it was almost a complete 50-50 balance between pass and run, 110 to 89. And basically they did their job. They limited their turnovers. They only had one in the second half, which really helped things out. But again, just complete dominance in the second half from Baltimore.
Yeah, and despite Jack Whitmore throwing 4 interceptions, which is uncharacteristic for him in any ball game, considering he's the quarterback who's thrown the least interceptions through the first 7 games, while now 8 games through the season, still didn't matter as he threw for 3 touchdowns and 58% completions, almost 300 yards through the air. Just when he still has receivers out there like Mac Chima and Ivory Irvin, it really doesn't matter that he has an off game. He still finds ways to win games for Baltimore.
And we've talked about throughout this season where it feels like in moments Baltimore will just get theirs no matter what. And this was a prime example of that. Once they got going, they got what they wanted. Player of the game.
Player of the game, Ivory Irvin. Today's performance: 5 receptions, 81 yards, 2 touchdowns, 16.2 yards per catch. For myself, I'm Nate Hall. Brett Killian, and for Just the Reside, and Gino McFly in the stats truck. For everybody back at SFL HQ, you've been watching the SFL here on Twitch. Enjoy the rest of this weekend's action, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good night.
Bidoo.